Okay, we're ready. Whenever you are, Renee. You're on the hot seat, lady.
Well, first of all, I just want to say, I don't feel like I have anything like special, secretive, magic, whatever to share, but I've jotted down some things that I do consistently, and hopefully you guys will take some tips away from it. I think some of them, I know at least you, Danielle, do some of them, and I believe Cindy does too. I don't know you real well, Carrie, but so for starters, I mostly party on Facebook, so I don't know what your guys' party style is, but
Should
uh,
we all mute real quick? Let's all mute ourselves. Besides Renee.
okay. So I party mainly on Facebook. I had done home parties for the first probably 3.5 to 4 years of my business,
I keep
and
getting kicked off, so I'm just gonna try my iPad.
what'd you say, Cindy? Danielle, you're muted.
Cindy, did you say you got kicked off, or are you okay? There's two of you. You're muted, Cindy. Did we lose you?
She's frozen on my screen.
Yeah, she's frozen on my screen, plus I see another one. Like, did she try to call in, maybe?
Maybe she should leave altogether and then come back in.
I'm here. I don't know what I did, but I kept getting booted out. So
Can you hear okay?
I'm here now, though.
Can you hear us okay?
Good.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so about 2.5 years, actually probably close to 3 years now ago, I started getting some people joining my customer group that were not local to me and asking me to do parties. And so like I really struggled with getting started with Facebook parties because I had never done Facebook parties. So it took me like a good 6 months to get into a good groove. But since I've done that, I feel like that was when my business kind of like doubled. And I think probably most of us Facebook party, but it's been really frustrating this last month with Facebook jail because I am still in jail. I've been in jail since June 4th, and I have not been able to comment on my personal account. So I had to create a second one to comment. So that's been a challenge this month. But all of that to say, I feel like that is when my business really grew because now I have endless contacts, and my goal is to consistently be growing my VIP group through my party. So,
Cindy, if you're on, I think it's you. We're hearing like terrible feedback. There's two of you. Do you have two links open somehow?
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, you're like echoing. You might need to go out of both of them and come back because you're giving us crazy feedback.
Sorry.
It sounds like an alien. Sorry.
now she's just one, and the other one's gone.
Okay, let's try this again.
Okay, so my goal is to consistently be growing my VIP group through my parties. And so I do, I ran my stats last night because I figured you'd probably like to hear that. So in the last 6 months, I've submitted 87 parties, and my party average was $839 per party, and most of those were Facebook parties. So I sold 73,000 in the last 6 months, and most of those are Facebook parties. I've only done, I think, 4 home parties in the last 6 months. So everything that I do is pretty much on Facebook, and I am like a total like quality over quantity. So I would rather have 5 really good parties versus 10 half-ish parties. In the month of May, I think I had 5 $1,200 Facebook parties, and I'm closing one today that's at $1,300. So I feel like I don't book more parties. I just really focus on the ones that I have to make them really good. So hostess coaching is my biggest thing, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I do 14 to 15 Facebook parties a month, and 5 of those usually are club parties because I have 4 to 5 hostess of the month clubs, typically at a time. This month I have 5, and one's ending, and I have 4 in July and going forward, but I always try to start a new one when one ends. So 5 of my 15 are usually club parties, and then I try to book between 8 to 10 other ones. Now, I have to say my goal is like to do less because now that I'm an executive director, my paycheck is better. And so I want to do less while keeping the same paycheck I was getting as a director or senior director. So my goal is to only do 8 parties a month, especially through the summertime. But that was my average for the last 6 months. So my goal then for my Facebook parties, my 14, 15 parties a month, is to get at least 12 to 25 people a week into my VIP group, because I want to keep growing my VIP group so that way I'm always in front of new people, to get new club members, to get new hostesses, and then ultimately I do a mystery hostess party every single month in my VIP group. I usually run it try to do it the first 5 days of the month, every month with the new specials. But then of course with the celebration right now, I've done a couple smaller ones. I opened a new one today, and it's already at $600 just from today alone. And then I did one last week. It was at $200. So they always vary in size, but that's something that I do every month just to try to be able to keep it fun for my VIP group. So let's talk a little bit about my Facebook party. So I do a 5-day Facebook party, and I used Terry Childers' layout as an example of how to kind of build my own script. And so I do the 1 day, 1 night, 1 hour, whatever you want to call it, live party where I do 8 posts and I do 2 short live videos for 10 minutes where I highlight the customer specials in the one and my just a few favorite things in the other one. So I just pick 2 to 3 products that I love and show my second live video. And then the party stays open for 4 days after that to allow them to place their orders. And I only do about 1 to 2 posts a day for those remaining 4 days. That way it's not too overwhelming, and it's really nice for me because I only really have to be present that first day for that 1 hour. And I used to do a 5-day full-blown Facebook party. I would do 5 posts a day, and I felt like I was never able to turn anything off because I always had to be checking in. So that has been a nice switch. I've done this for about 6 months now. It's been a nice switch to be able to just check in that one night. So I party on Sunday nights and Tuesday nights typically. And I'll book an 8 o'clock party, a 9 o'clock party. And then if I have West Coast hostesses, I'll do a 10 o'clock. And so I know I'll just go through my calendar. For July, I'll go through my calendar and I will highlight all the dates that I want to party on Sunday nights and Tuesday nights. And then I'll offer those as my party dates. With conference, it's kind of messing me up a little bit. So I'm doing a Thursday night just to be able to have an extra party date in there. And so that's my party style, basically. My hostess coaching, I do, I'm really specific about making it personal. So I reach out about a week before the party starts and I have her form a guest list based on our Frank's style. So I tell her how Frank's works, friends, relatives, acquaintances, the whole thing. And then I say, try to think of 40 names and write them down on a piece of paper because I'm a paper girl. But if they use Notes app or whatever, that's fine too. But make a list so you can see the names in front of you of who you want to invite to your party. And also think about, so I added this for the summer, also think about people that might like the new summer prints. So mermaids, farming, dinosaurs. If they have kids, think about what friends of yours that have kids that might like those different things. And try to get 40 names. And then after you have your list made, let me know and I'll give you the next step for inviting them. And so that's a week before the party starts. And then I check in usually 2 days later, and I will say, okay, do you have your list made? Are you ready to invite your guests to your party? And I party in groups. And so I send her the message to copy and paste to her friends that just says, hey, I'm having a 31 party. Word it however creatively you want to. But in the bottom, it says, if you'd like an invitation, please let me know and I will send you the link to my party. And so then the people that respond yes, she sends them a link to the party group and they request to join versus her adding them. And I have found a huge difference in people seeing my posts when they request to join versus being added by the hostess. So Facebook, with all their stupid changes lately, they push out notifications quicker to someone that says, hey, I want to be here. Can I get into the group? Versus the hostess going through and just randomly adding her friends because Facebook doesn't know if they want to be there. So that's been huge. And I also know if they request to join that they actually want to be there versus the host is just saying, oh, I think my friends want to come, so I'm going to invite them all. And I have a lot of hostesses that will say, oh, I'm just going to wait till you invite me, or till you add me, and then I'll just add my friends. And then I have to go through the whole spiel. And I usually send voice message so they can hear my voice, knowing that I'm not being hateful about it, but I really want them to have a successful party. And it's always so funny. Like my hostess that I'm closing out tomorrow, she's at 1,300, and she had told me that she's like, I'm just gonna invite my friends, and I hope you don't expect much from me because I usually don't have very good successful parties. And I was like, okay, well, follow my steps and I'll help you have a good one. And here she is closing a $1,300 party. So that is, to me, is one of the biggest steps, is them personally inviting them, sending out that link so that they can request to join versus being added. And then I actually don't approve any of the guests into the party group until 2 days before, because I want them to get in there and be excited about it once they see my pre-post. I don't want them to get in there a week ahead of time and then lose their excitement before the party even starts. So I approve everybody into the group 2 days before it starts. And then I use that. Do you guys know what that little feature is? If you are in a computer where you can post a post and it tags all the guests in the group that are new in the last week. So I do that right away, and that way they get a tag and they can come to the group, and I just say, make sure you check out my pre-post. I do a check-in to win post, just says check-in to win, and they have to join my VIP group, and they have to go vote on my poll to RSVP to the party. And so my poll just simply is like a kind of like an event RSVP. Are you going to be able to join us Tuesday night at 9 p.m.? Click yes. And then the second option is, no, I can't join you, but I can't wait to check it out later. The third option is, please just send me the shopping link. And then the fourth option is, I'm not interested in shopping, but I want to host a party with you. And so they have to go vote on the poll and join my VIP group to get entered into that first check-in to win drawing. And that's when I get people to join my customer group. So that's the first thing that they do to get entered to win. So I tag them in that post for like all the new members of the group. And then, of course, then the party starts a day and a half after that. Any questions so far? Okay. So then the next thing that I wanted to talk about in my party was Google Form. I think probably most of you do a Google Form, but if you don't do a Google Form, that has been huge for me. It's basically my electronic door prize slip. And Cindy was asking me, like, how do you get parties from your Facebook parties? I can't get anybody to book. And this is honestly the key to my parties being booked through my Facebook parties, because people most times don't come right out and say they want to host a party. But they will click on that in the Google form if they're thinking about it. And so that's when I'll follow up with them, and then I'll get that party secured. I do also have a hostess challenge that I do for them to get a party. And I do one of two things. For years, I've done hostess tic-tac-toe, where there's like 9 challenges that the hostess has to complete. And if she gets 3 in a row, she gets extra credit. And so they include things like get 10 orders or $600 in sales or 2 bookings, complete every day's hostess challenge that I send you, ask me 5 questions about the business opportunity, just things like that. And so she'll get rewarded if she gets bookings through that. But then I also recently tried this thing that one of my accountability partners had shared, was if you send them, like in their hostess packet, have like a coupon that says, if you get 3 bookings from your party, you'll get a $100 mystery bundle from me whenever all 3 of them are closed. And so I've been trying that. I have not ever got 3, but I have gotten 1 or 2 through that. So I'm thinking I may go back to the hostess tic-tac-toe because it seems more achievable. And that just helps to get them excited. So then in my party, I make a post and I say, your hostess is working towards an additional prize this week. If she can get, X amount of bookings, she will earn X, Y, and Z. And so lately I've been putting in, she'll earn the mystery bundle. She gets 3, and then she'll tag some friends, and like sometimes I'll get bookings from that as well. But my goal is not really to have an incentive per se, but I want them to have enough fun and see how easy it is, and really that their wish list is just large enough that they want to host to get it. So that's my goal with my party. And then I also talk about the party in my one live video. When I talk about the customer special, I talk about the savings that they can get, and my 3 ways to save are kind of like the backward catalog. Join my team is the best deal. Host a party is the second best. And then I talk about the customer specials as the third.
I have a question real quick.
Okay.
Because I've seen your party, because you and Amy are sweet enough that shared it last time. What have you found with success with when you share your Google survey? Because I found when I was sharing it at the beginning, it was too soon. It's kind of like when I passed out at the home party, and of course they're all going to say no right away.
Yes.
So are you sharing it now at the end too, or what are you finding with your timing of it? Or are you messaging it to them sometimes too, or what is that looking like for you?
So I did try at the beginning too, at the beginning of, when was that? Beginning of spring. And I was finding I wasn't getting anybody to fill it out.
Yep.
And the ones that did, everyone said no. And so I now put it a half an hour after my party ends.
Okay.
So that way they're still excited about all the products that they just saw.
Yep.
I make a post about, I don't do any booking or recruiting posts in my hour. It's all strictly product. But then at 15 minutes after the party's over, I do my booking post and I say, I hope you had so much fun tonight. If your wish list is longer than your budget, you can always host the party. And here's what my average hostesses get. And then I ask them to comment below with, well, you've seen it if you saw Amy's script, 10, 5, or 1, depending on their interest level.
Yep.
And 15 minutes later, I say, if you were to come to a home party, you'd have a chance at a door prize. So we're going to do that tonight as well on the electronic door prize slip. And then I post that. And then I post it that time. And then I also post it on my prize announcement post. So the next day I make a post announcing my winners for the party so far. And at the bottom, I say, if you haven't won anything yet, you can still win by entering into my door prize drawing.
Okay. That's kind of what I was leaning towards, but that helps. That's perfect. Makes perfect sense. Because I was seeing the same thing. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. And I don't have I don't even know what my percentage is of how many people fill it out. I don't have a ton fill it out.
I've been having a good percentage, but like you said, when I was doing it early, they were all just saying no. And I was like, they all just want to win the prize and they all just clicked no, no, no. I'm like, at least I got their contact sort of, they were joining the customer group, that kind of thing, but it wasn't quite enough. I was finding when I would, of course, take it to a personal conversation, I could get somewhere with them and I could get them to watch my club video and a couple things, but I would I would love to not just be no out of the gate, because like I said, I found the same way at home parties. If I pass it out at the beginning, then yes, they all click X. But if you do something fun at the end and you make a little joke like Miranda's taught us of whatever, then they fill it out, at least know they're going to get something, but they actually read it and don't just click no. So, okay.
And I kind of weighed what I would rather have them do to win the first prize. And I really want them in my group. That's my main goal, is in my group, because I know that even if they don't book a party now, they might book a party later, or they might buy later or join my team.
Absolutely.
So that kind of outweighed. I wanted them in my group first and foremost, and it was easy enough for them to do that first before the party.
I saw Amy's spring and she did the same thing. So where the emphasis was with the group at the beginning. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How many giveaways do you do? Because you said, I list my winners, and then you tell them there's still another chance. So how many giveaways do you do in a typical party? And what are you giving away exactly?
Okay, so I do usually 3. So my first one is the check-in to win, and that person usually wins a free key fob on their order. And so that I usually announce that the day after the party. I'll just put all the names in my random spinning wheel and I'll pull one. And then the next one is maybe I do 4. Sorry, I do 4. My next one is the roll call winner. And that is, if they check in within the first 5 minutes of the party starting, then they get entered into that one. So I want them on time. And so that one usually wins Happy Mail for me. And I will just mail them a bookmark from Business Supplies, a little lookbook, and then usually a $5 coupon off of a $35 order to be used sometime during that catalog season. And I just print those out. I just make my own little coupons. And then the next one is for one of the top participants in the live party. So I don't count points. That takes way too much time. So I just kind of go through the posts the next day and I see who interacted the most. I put them all into the random spinning wheel and I just pull one. And then they win $5 off of the customer special. So both the key fob and the and the $5 off, they have to place an order to win those. And the customer special means that I'm going to get at least a $45 order, if not more, because usually the customer special is always $10. And if they decide not to order, then I'm not out anything. So, and then the last one is the giveaway form. And that one I do Happy Mail. I do the same thing as what the roll call was. The the bookmark and the gift certificate with the lookbook. So I send 2 Happy Mails, and then 2 things usually cost me about $10 if they both redeem it on the party. But I started attaching it to an order because I was like, I'm not just going to give away free products and stuff to people that aren't going to place orders. And then if they pass, I'm not out anything except for the, Happy Mail. And I can mail the bookmarks for the 71-cent stamp. So it's not too expensive to mail those. And I do tell them in the post, like, if you want a prize, please ship your order to Hostess so I can add it before it's processed. And then if they're not near the Hostess, then I'll just change it to direct ship after I add it. Okay, so the other thing that's been helpful is I printed out Terry Childers' party tracker. I don't know if you guys saw this in Leading Together or not, but it's just a nice like online party tracker. So I put the party's name at the top, all my participants, and then I check in, like I give them a check mark if they're on time, if they filled out my survey, if they join my VIP group, and then I can keep track of my prize winners on the side, booking a party follow-up, opportunity follow-up, and then she has Hostess bonuses up here, which I don't use, but this has helped me to be able to keep track of all my people that are going into the prize drawings. And then I could just literally do a party and sit there and check them off as they're doing things. So I know the next day it's easier to go ahead and announce my winners for that. So I just wanted to point that out if you hadn't seen that before.
Thank you. I had not seen that and thought I was going to have to create something. So that is genius. I don't know how
it's in the files and things together.
I don't know how I missed that. I'll look for it because that's literally I've been chicken scratching on paper, random notes and trying to, like you said, even just she said she liked this print. She talked about, trying to like mentally, because it's so much harder than the home party because you can visually see people and remember. And now you're trying to, what did that person comment and what did they say? And so, but you've got to try to get that home party feel and do it. So, and I know you rock at it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much most of what I was going to share about my Facebook parties. Now, if I'm ever like at a month where I don't have my 8 to 10 parties booked, like July is not looking very great for me just because I haven't really focused on it too much. What I do is I will do like a survey kind of post in my VIP group for like the Hostess special or like I did one in June for summer prints. Okay, I posted all the different summer prints and said, which is your favorite? And then instead of just leaving the answers there, I will go through and message everybody with a picture of those items in the summer print. So I actually booked a party for June from that. And I had over 60 comments and I've only gotten through 10 of them. So I have to go through the other 50. But I'll just message them a picture of a collage with all the items in that print. And I'll say, I saw that you voted on the farm print being your favorite. I want to share you everything that comes in that print and let you know it's here through August. If you would like to earn some of these for free, I would love to do a party for you sometime in July or August. And I had a lady this week. Well, she's doing her party this week, but she was like, you read my mind. I've been wanting to do a party, but I didn't want to say anything. So she was waiting for me to ask. So I don't really do many like booking posts in my group, like, hey, book a party or whatever. But I'll like take it to Messenger and I'll do it that way. And the other thing I'll do if I'm ever at a month where I need bookings is I will take I don't know if you guys saw Samantha Thompson's video where she took 10 bags of products and she's like did a great big giveaway in her group. And she's like, join me, this time, this day to see how to win some of these amazing products. They're all valued over $35. And then she either did a live video or just made a big post about it. And if they booked a party in a certain month, then they got to pick a bag and the bag contained a product. And so both times that I've done that, I've gotten 10 bookings or 10 club members from that. Last time I did it, I gave them the option to join my club or book a party, and all of them but one joined my new club, which, hey, that's fine with me because I'll take the club. And the time before that I did it, I got 12 bookings from it. So that's my plan if I don't get many bookings from July for August because it's the last month of the catalog. I might just give that a try. So that's the two things I do if I am ever looking at a month where I do not have many parties. I was telling Cindy yesterday, my follow-up system sucks. So I have no tips for that because honestly, I am so overwhelmed by even thinking about going back to my customers and following up with them because I have so many. I mean, 87 parties in 6 months. I haven't even followed up with probably one of them. So where do I even begin? And so I will I try to follow up with my hostesses to make sure that everything was right with the parties, but I hardly ever get to the customers. I do try to follow up with home office leads. because I really haven't had interaction with them outside of the order. And I have a hostess for July that was a home office lead, and I followed up with her, and she booked the party for July because of that. So I try to do as much as I can, but I honestly, my time just runs out that I don't get to it. So I don't have any tips for you on that. Okay, anything else you want me to talk about on PB before we move on to developing leaders? Did you learn anything? Any ideas? I was afraid you guys would be doing it all already and I would have nothing new to share.
No, I'm doing it, but I still caught nuggets. You're fine. And to hear you explain it and the whys for me, like why you're doing it. I mean, some of it's obvious, but like I said, some of it I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm just excited to hear you tell me about it, because, you know, it's harder when you're just stealing it per se.
Well, sometimes you do it, but you lose your excitement over it, and you're just like, oh, okay, so I am doing the right thing. Let me like, I just gotta like reinvent it, maybe like in a new way or something like that.
Mm-hmm. No, and it's went great for me, because I've just started embracing Facebook parties again, like the past, like mid spring, I think was when Amy shared it with me, when both of you guys said on our other group. And I'm like you, I've been shocked at the $1,200 parties I've been having, and the hostesses, just like you said, who have been like, I've never had a party like this, and you know,
so it's so fun. It's so
yeah,
fun.
no, they get so excited. Yeah, no, I'm actually almost, I don't want to say hooked yet, because I still love my home parties, but I'm almost hooked on Facebook parties where I'm starting to enjoy them at least. So thank you.
My struggle is right now in my home parties, when I have a home party, it is not good. Like, people do not come. Everyone's too busy. And I have done, whenever, was it Cindy challenged us in March to have one home party a month for the next season. I think it was on Leadership Live. So I was like, okay, I can do this. I got to have a home party every month. I had one in April, I had one in May, and one in June. The April and June ones were like $200. Actually, two people came to my June one. I didn't even hit $100. And she did a Facebook party, so that helped her to get up to 500.
I was just going to say, that's my secret, is I make them do a Facebook party after.
I got to do 2 nights. Why not just do it in one night and just do one Facebook party? My May one did turn out pretty decent. She had 7 or 8 people come. But there again, we still did a Facebook party. So I had to spend 2 nights doing this party that got to $600 worth, which I could have just done one night and spent 1 hour versus spending 2 whole nights doing it. So I just really am struggling with going back to home parties, except for this Facebook jail is really making me mad. But I'm just trying to decide what I'm going to do for July if nothing clears up. Like, am I going to go to a 31-minute live party? Am I going to go to a doing parties like in mega groups again, where I used to do like multi-hostesses in one party group? I used to do that, but I had so many people say that they didn't like it because it wasn't personal, and so I just got away from that. So I got to figure out what I'm doing, but I'm glad that my parties are still working despite the jail. But it's a non-negotiable for me. Like, booking parties is non-negotiable. I will take a week off sometimes. Like, I'm taking next week off just because I need a break. And I'm kind of glad I took that week now because of Facebook jail. Maybe I'll actually get out and be able to comment for once. But we're going to take the kids away for 2 days because we're not with my husband this week. He's at home. So I'm glad that I have a week for free. But I just do everything I can to get the 8 to 10 parties a month until I hit that, because I don't know. I can't go back to the low PV after having the PV I've had for the last 2 years.
Okay. So what do you do with a hostess that isn't pulling her weight? Do you cut her off and say, sorry, but we're not doing this? Or how do you handle that?
So if I have a hostess, and I kind of know from the beginning if she's going to do the work, because I'll tell her, like in my first hostess connection, I'll say, I'm going to give you a challenge every day during the party, and it's going to only take 10 minutes a day. So don't think it's going to be overwhelming, but your participation and involvement is really vital to this being successful. And then I say, are you willing to partner with me to make this happen? And then if she's like, yes, I'm ready to do this or whatever, then I'll go ahead and then I'll give her the guest list challenge. And if she does not get her guest list completed, we do not proceed with her party. So there's people that I will say, okay, I'm sorry you don't have your guest list made yet. or she'll say she has her guest list done and I'll give her the next step, but nobody gets added to the group. And I know she's not sending out messages. I'll connect with her and say, hey, are you sending, your invitations out because nobody's joined the group? And then she'll say, oh, I'm just waiting till you approve me and I'm going to add them. Or I don't have time to send out messages or whatever. Then I'll just explain and say, okay, well, here's the deal. This is the reason why I'm having you do this. And if she's like, I don't have time this week, or I don't want to invite my guests that way, then I'll say, okay, then we need to move your party to another date to where you're going to have time to do it. So I've had people, I actually had 2 hostesses this month move to July because they told me they didn't have the time, or life happened or something happened and it was like the day before their party and nobody was in there yet. So that's where I usually try to have enough parties booked where if I have a cancellation or 2, then I'm not worried about. But I do not proceed with the party until they've done their steps. And I know that if they're going to be willing to send out messages to 20 to 40 people to invite them to the party, then they'll be willing to do my next steps throughout the week, which is only to, like posting their pictures of their products in the Facebook party, or I have them post on their personal timeline. I have them send 5 messages to people that are not on Facebook to let them know about their party happening. And then again, the last day I have them send a message to everybody that they invited with a shopping link and just a reminder that the party is closing. Oh, by the way, Danielle, that's something else I used to include my Google form in. I would have the link at the bottom of that message when she sent it out the last day, and it would say, and also if you haven't entered Renee's giveaway drawing yet, here's the link to enter that. But I stopped doing that. I don't know why. I should go back to that. But Carrie, that's pretty much what I do. If they send out the invitations, I know they'll be good for their, they'll be good to go for the rest of the party. I haven't had a hostess go missing in action in a long time because I know that if they get past that first step, that's the most work. And then they're done pretty much. Like the rest of it's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's helpful because I think people think it's an easy way and they expect me to do all of the work and message their friends and get their people there, and to make them understand that's not how this works has been a challenge for me.
And I just tell them too in the beginning, I say, your friends know you, they don't know me. So you're going to be, this is a personal relationship thing here. That's what's going to make it successful, is if you're willing to put in the work to make this personal. And I say too, I want to mirror a home party as closely as possible, because that's where the success happens. People want to be a part of something that they feel like they're not just a number. And I'll say that in my message to the hostess if she's giving me, a grief about having to message everybody. I'll say, they don't want to just be a number. Everybody does Facebook parties anymore. And I'll say, if you just get invited to a Facebook party and you see 300 people in there, you're going to be like checked out right away. You're not going to order. I never do. If I just get added to a group or I just get added to an event and I never hear from the hostess, I never order. Mm-hmm. Because to me, I just, I'm in that line of work, so I know that that's tacky, and they don't have 10 seconds to send me a message and let me know they're having a party. So hey, they don't need my order. Sorry, but
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions about PV? Cindy's quiet. Okay, so let's chat about leader development. So first of all, I have to say that I was a director for 5 years, and I watched so many people around me promote, and I was like, I want to do that too, but I can't get anybody on board. So I don't even know what titles you guys all are, but it took me 5 years to get to senior director, and then I promoted to executive director a month after that. So I double promoted in 2 months. But I was working with all of my upcoming directors at one time, and so they all just kind of like promoted at the same time. It just happened that way. But the 5 years of being a director, it definitely was worth waiting for what happened. So what I did was, I have 2 ladies on my team that have been my top sellers for the last 3.5 years. And they had no interest in leadership, none whatsoever. And I kept telling them, like, you would be amazing at being a leader. You would be an amazing director. Just think of the paycheck bonus that you would get, especially when we got the 10%. And they just were like, we're not interested. We're happy what we're doing. And so that was hard for me, because I knew that they would be amazing if they gave it a shot. Well, last spring, both of their husbands at the same time encouraged them to go for becoming a director because we got the 10% raise, and then Maui was announced. And they also both said, like, on top of that, both of their husbands told them, you're so good at what you do, why would you not share it with other people? Because neither of them had recruited much either. Like, the one had, I think, one recruit prior to that, and she didn't stay around for very long. So those two ladies, they were super scared, and they messaged me and they're like, okay, I think I'm ready to maybe give this a shot. And just like them changing that mindset shift from I'm not interested at all to, okay, I want to give it a try was huge, because I found out that neither of them were sharing any recruiting seeds in their parties. So they never even posted about the opportunity. And so I said to them, I was like, do you realize you've been doing this 3 years and you could have had so many people that may have joined your team, but you never even offered it to someone. And so I feel like that's the first thing, that if you identify someone that wants to become a leader, they need to be sharing that with everybody. Like, the first thing I challenge them to do is ask every hostess before her party. And then make sure you have at least 2 recruiting seeds in your parties like you do booking seeds. And that was something that neither of them were doing. They never asked their hostesses. They never posted in their parties. But they had, like, they usually sold between $25,000 to $40,000 a year. So they're in front of a lot of people. So that mindset shift change for them was huge. Then I had my other 2 directors that promoted, well, actually 3 other directors, because I had 5 promote this fall, was newer consultants that were excited about their business, and they got excited around the 10% and the Maui also. So what I did was Miranda Perezzo, which I think you all know, is my like accountability partner, BFF, and we decided that we were going to create a aspiring leader group together, and we were going to add all of our girls into this group that were wanting to go for leadership. And what we did was every month we had a Zoom chat with these girls, and we just like went through the senior consultant university content, because I was a facilitator last spring, so I got all the notes from that. And basically we just went through like the whole thing of setting goals, building consistency in your business. We went through Aaron Burge's goal system, like happy goal, super happy goal, rock star goal. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but setting a 3-step goal system where you can still celebrate yourself along the way, even if you don't reach your ultimate goal of becoming a director. So what are, 3 different areas that you would celebrate yourself? So that was like our first call with them. And then after that, every single month, we just kind of went through things that we do consistently, like how do we share the opportunity? How do we book parties? How do we party? How do we get out of our contact circle? And just like all those different creative things that they share at Leadership University. And then we also did one-on-one coaching calls with each of those girls every month after the call was over. So it was typically like a check-in, follow-up to what we had talked about on the main call, and also just like, hey, where are you at with your goals this month? And your rockstar super happy and happy goals ultimately. And so if they had a rockstar, or if they had a happy goal of $1,000 a month and they had no parties booked, then we're like, okay, let's book some parties. What are you going to do to book some parties? So it was just kind of like a accountability coaching call in a way. And they didn't have to do it if they didn't want to. It was optional. But I will tell you, the girls that took the coaching calls with me every month were the ones that promoted. The ones that did not, one of them actually is at risk this month. And so it's really, if they're willing to do the work, then they can make it happen. And I think that they saw that. They saw that if they were willing to put the time in and put the work in, then they were successful in the end. So this year, we did the same thing. We actually, at the beginning of the year, we did a, what do we call it? It was like an opportunity event for leadership. So rather than doing an opportunity event for people to join your team, we did one for our team to see the potential of leadership. And so we did like a 10-post event where we invited everyone in our team that wanted to check out the information about leadership to this event. And we identified people through a Google survey that were willing to do $1,000 a month, willing to start sharing the opportunity, and wanted to promote to leadership. And so we added them to a new group this year, and we're doing the same kind of thing. But now that the cruise is announced, we turned it into a cruise group. So rather than just going for leadership, it's like, okay, who wants to earn the cruise? Because anybody can earn the cruise now. And if ultimately, if they earn the cruise, they will most likely promote eventually. But this group has 70 some people in between the two of our teams. And it is not getting traction nearly like last year did, because I feel like the group is too large and it doesn't have that personal feel like we did last year, where we had like 12 to 15 people. And so we are really struggling with, what do we do with this group? Because nobody's sharing ideas. Nobody's posting their goals when we ask them to. We have maybe 6 to 7 people get on a Zoom call with us. And most times it's the people that we already are working with, that are doing well. So it's been a struggle this year more than last year. So I really believe it has to do with the people that you're working with, like identifying those people that are willing to do the work, that are putting in the high sales every month, willing to share the opportunity, and just having those one-on-one conversations with them. I don't feel like the group itself was the magic thing last year that got them to promote. I feel like it was just that they changed their mindset from, I'm scared to share the opportunity, to I'm going to share it with everybody I can, put it in my parties, offer it to my hostesses. And then my one girl, actually, that was my top seller for the last 3 years, she got 3 recruits in July. She got a 4th in August, and she promoted in October. So within 3 months, she went from having nobody on her team to promoting to director, and she was my top seller for the last 3 years. And so it was just simply like a light bulb switch. Like, she went from not sharing at all to sharing at once. So I don't know if that helps or not, but that's pretty much all that I did. And then I just continued like encouraging them that they were doing a great job with their recruits. I kind of walked them through their first, like when they first sponsored, to help them know how to help their recruits to become excited and successful. And I liked Terry's idea that she shared on Leadership Live, and I'm going to start doing this the other week. She does a group message with her girls on her team that when they first sponsor, and she says, like, watch me help you lead this new consultant. And then the next time she gets a recruit, which if she qualifies, she would become a senior consultant. She says, okay, I'm going to watch you. Go ahead and create a group message, and I'll shadow you this time. Now, the only thing I wouldn't do is I don't do launch parties for girls that are not my own. So I tell them, if they sponsor someone, they're responsible to their launch party, because I train them how to do a successful Facebook party with my Facebook script that I share every season. But if they're my personal recruit, then I do their launch party for them. But if they're their personal recruit, then I just kind of coach them through helping their new girl get started. And then help hopefully to empower them to do the next one on their own successfully as well. So that's about all I got for that. Any questions?
I think one of the things that I'm really struggling with is, so I have this influx of new team members. My team has probably grown by 35% in the past 7 weeks. And 10 of those are mine personally. And then a lot of the others were first time sponsors. So right now I'm just overwhelmed by of course mine are my first priority, and then mine that are sponsoring for the first time are next on the list of priorities, and it goes down from there. And I just feel so overwhelmed, and I actually really suck at Facebook parties. I do a 30-minute Facebook Live where everybody hops on, and I treat it just like a living room party, and I have success when I do them, but I don't book them very often because they don't bring me joy like the in-home party. But what I'm finding is most of my new recruits, they join for $1. They have nothing. They really want a Facebook party to launch them, and I feel like I'm completely ill-equipped to help them in that way.
Yeah, that would be hard. I get your totally like overwhelmed feeling though, because it's a lot. Like, I feel like 2 recruiting incentives back to back, that's a lot on top of summer. But what I'm doing is the whole like trying to train the sponsor to help her new girl versus me helping her. So what I do is I made a YouTube video a few months back where I just walk through like the first 5 steps of getting started in your business. And like the first one's creating your who do you know list. and then reaching out to ask people to book a party with you and how to ask, because that's really important. I feel like whenever somebody is new and they don't get training on how to ask, then they ask in a very offish, like off-putish way or Spanish way, whatever, and then they lose, like, all those people are like gone already. They can't even ask them again in a new way. So I want to make sure they know how to ask. And then creating our VIP group and the importance of how we use that. And then I think the last one is like maybe how to utilize our team pages. Because we have units in our team page. I don't know if you guys have units in your team page, but that's been huge for us. The units simply are like they had done in sponsoring you, where you can go in and you can just like go down a list and check off the things that you're going to do. So like personalizing your website and setting up the VIP group and setting up your first party and stuff like that. And so all of our new consultants can go right to our units in our team page, and they can simply just go down the first 10 units. And if they do all 10, they are like, they should be well informed about what to do. So in the video and my message I send to them, I say, make sure you go to the Shining Gems page and you find the units and you start working through those to get started. And then I just, in my message, I'll say, hi, Carrie, welcome to our team. I'm Renee Pugh, your executive director. I'm above Danielle, and I wanted to welcome you and give you some starter points of where to get started. And then I insert the video link, and then I say, so Danielle's going to be the one to help you get started with your business, but I wanted to let you know I'm here for support too. If you ever have questions that she can't answer for you. And then I will copy that message and I'll send it over to her sponsor. And then I'll say, here's what Carrie received from me as like information. She's also going to get a welcome packet in the mail, because I send out welcome packets as well, that has some like flyers and stuff in it. And then I say, you know, since this is your first recruit, I know you're probably lost as to what to do. So here's some of the first things I would work with her on. You know, doing her launch party for her, and I explained why I do a launch party for my new girls versus just having them do their own. And then I tell her to, you know, in that launch party, working with her to get the next bookings beyond that launch party, because that's really important too. You can do a launch party, but then they could just like be done. And so you want to try to work with them to get parties beyond that launch party. And then basically after that, I kind of let her on her own, and I'll check in monthly in my monthly check-in with my team and just say, hey, how's it going with Carrie? You know, any questions that you have that I need to help you to getting her off to a better start or whatever. But it's hard to like manage your own business, help your new recruits personally, and then help your downline recruits.
Thank you. That is helpful. I think I need to incorporate some kind of checklist, and I loved your idea of making a video. Right now I've set up chats like with the sponsor and her new girls on Facebook, and I try and do video voice clips and things, but I'm finding that they're not responding at all.
Okay.
And so I don't know how effective that is.
I know. And the video may not be effective sometimes either if they don't want, like, I feel like it's hard with these recruiting incentives, especially because some of them definitely are just, they just joined for the kit, or like the last month, you know, the gift certificate, or this month they just joined for the discount. And so they don't always tell you that because they're fearful that you're going to push them and want to sell. But I wish they would just come out and tell you if they don't want to sell, because then you're like, okay, I'm not going to worry with you. Then I'll just let you do your own thing. But at least doing the video, you're not spending as much time investing into them once you make it the first time.
Thank you.
There's also on Leading Together, there's a checklist for new consultants as well, because I have a director that she did, one of my new directors grew from a team of 8 to a team of 31 last month, and she's like overwhelmed, seriously overwhelmed. And so I'm drowning, I don't know what to do. And some of her girls recruited for the first time. The one got 7 recruits. The first time she ever recruited, she got 7 recruits in May. And the other one got 4. And so she was like, I don't know what to do because I got to train all these girls at the same time. And so I pointed her to this new consultant checklist in Leading Together. And basically you just go down the list and like, if you know their why and all those different things. So that one might be helpful for you.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Hi.
Hi. I've been just taking it all in. But my internet's going out too. I don't know if you've seen me disappear all of a sudden and come back, but I have a let's see. wishes come true or something like that group for new consultants. Do you have a separate group for your new consultants and their like my team members that I recruited and then their team members, or do you not do that at all?
We used to have one, we called it Pink Box Academy. And we just found like it was too much for them to be in a separate group. And so we used to have that they would join our team page and they would join Pink Box Academy. And I don't know, it just got to be too complicated or something. So then whenever the sponsoring you happened and we started hearing about people using units in their team pages for new consultants, that's when we incorporated that. And so everyone's in one group, but new consultants can go find the basics of where to get started in the units. Have you seen it? Have you seen them set up ever before, Cindy?
No.
Okay.
I know about them. I haven't seen them set up though.
I'll send you some screenshots. But basically it's like, let me see here. Oh, I can't go in here right now. Basically it's just like unit 1 is logging in the TOT and personalizing your website, and then you can actually go back to posts in your team page and you can link it to that unit. So it just lists it out like in order of what to do. And then they can be videos, they can be posts, they can be files or whatever. And so then the next one is like setting up your first party. And then I have like a tutorial of how to set up your first party and things like that. So that's the easiest way that I found, because it's all in one group. They don't have to go to a different group to find the resource. They just know to go to the units and find it, or use the search bar at the top. So we did away with the new consultant Pink Box Academy probably about a year ago. And it seems to have been, it's a little bit less overwhelming with just having one group now as opposed to 2.
Okay. Well, I feel like home office has really upped their game as well for new consultants. The new consultant training with Kathy. I also used to do a Pink Box Academy until about a year ago. But now recruiting tapered off and it just wasn't worth my time investment. And then when home office came out with their group, I feel like my girls are already getting what they need from there if they're engaging. Right. And so I don't want to keep recreating the wheel and overwhelming them with the same things.
Yeah. The only thing that's hard about the new consultant group is you don't really know what content they're receiving. So that's always hard for me, because I'm like, well, how do I know if they're getting what they need in there? Like I know that we probably recreate the wheel so many times in our team page, but we don't see what they're getting, so it's hard.
That's what I love about units too, Cindy, is that I can say, have you done unit 1? Because I can tell when they haven't. They're messaging me to ask how to set their party up, and they've told me they've done unit 1. I'm like, you haven't. But at least I mean, that's just it. I start to clue in, and I remind them that they need to go back and maybe watch it again. So it's helped alleviate some of those problems too.
Yeah, so, and then I'll do the same thing. If someone asks me a question about something, it's either I point them to TOT, where to find it, or I'll go look in the unit. I'll say, I'm going to tag you in unit 5.
Yep.
Or this month I can't tag them. So I'll say, go to unit 5.
Oh, poor Renee.
I know, I'm having a big story for myself. Like, Facebook, let me alone. But, and that reminds them, oh yeah, I need to go back to those units. Or like we also have units just for anything, not just new consultants. So we have one for like booking ideas. So anytime that we post a post that is like an idea for booking parties, we'll go and add it to an existing unit. That way, if someone ever needs ideas for booking parties, they can just go to the booking unit, and there's like 10 or 15 posts in there of different booking ideas. And they can, again, be live videos, they can be posts, they can be files or whatever. And then like all the random stuff, like how to use PayPal for shipping, and how to use Canva, and how to use Post My Party, and all that kind of stuff. All those tutorials are organized in the unit so that they are easy to find whenever someone's asking questions about them, versus having to go to your search engine or search, option in your team group.
Okay.
It sounds overwhelming. And I was super overwhelmed when I set mine up, but once it's done, I was like, I felt so good. That's how I'm feeling right now about Project Broadcast. I really have to get on the Project Broadcast wagon, but I'm so overwhelmed by learning how to use it that I just haven't done it.
I haven't either.
I've been the same way with units and Project Broadcast, but like you said, when you just bite the little bites off, I had a lot of the videos done, but units, I needed to organize them basically. I had all my thoughts down and what I want to do, and I'm still not done. But I'm the same way with Project Broadcast. I get in there and I'm just like, oh, and I know there's the boot camps, but it's the same thing. I look at all the units for the boot camps and go,
No.
but I know people are so successful with it, so I need to, and I've been paying for it for a year, so I have 1,000 bazillion jillion credits to use that I need to make use of.
I know. And that might be something helpful for you, Carrie, too. Do you use Project Broadcast?
No, I don't. I'm so bad with technology.
Okay.
Like, no wonder I can log on to my Facebook. I don't know how I ever got this far in this business. I really don't, because I got my first smartphone about 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
For 6 years, I ran a business with no texting and a flip phone.
Okay. Well,
so yeah.
you do your business like we all did back in the day with all the home parties, and that's what we always used to do. But on one of our ED webinars, we were talking about Project Broadcast and how so many people use it for their new consultants, and they create these what are they even called?
Like campaigns?
Yes, campaigns. They're called campaigns, and they create these campaigns, which are basically like texts that they already pre-create, and they like attach it to this consultant, and every day for 10 days after she joins, she gets like one step to do. So it's kind of the same things of like, okay, today I want you to go in and personalize your website and set up your first party, and here's links how to do that. And then the next day it might be like getting with your sponsor to schedule lunch, whatever it is. But anyhow, she schedules it to go out to her new consultants. And so all the work is already done for her. Just by attaching this to kind of like Post My Party for a party, it's already scheduled to go out.
Now, is this something that I can do via the computer, or do I have to do it through my phone and type out all the text? Because I'm a terrible texter.
I think
you have to have the app though to be able to respond to them in your text, because it doesn't come to your regular phone number. You get a new phone number, and so you just gotta pop. But I'm not good at technology either, and when I pop on and look, the messages are right there. Like, you just open the app and it's pretty user friendly with that. Now, I'm not savvy in knowing what I'm doing yet with all of the campaigns and all of that, but I've had someone help me with the campaign. And like I said, when you just open the app, it's like, boom, there's your conversations.
You can do it, I think, on the computer though too, right? You can open the website and respond there.
Yeah.
Because it's so much easier for me if I could type on a keyboard as opposed to sitting there.
Yeah.
Like that.
Where I get stuck is like downloading your contacts list and importing them, and like clearing out the ones that are at risk or inactive or whatever it is, because you can never remove them. Apparently you can archive them, but you can't remove them. And so like that to me is overwhelming. And then thinking about importing all of my contacts list and making sure that they're all cell phone numbers. And I'm just like, ugh.
Yep, me too. Same spot.
So many people say how much they love it for their monthly campaigns for their team. Like if there's something happening, like we all just realized that this is the outlet sale. We had no clue. Like instead of having to go through and message everybody a copy and paste message and get in Facebook jail, you can text them all with the click of a button. So that's why I really need to do it. But I was just thinking that might be helpful for you with your new consultants. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you can just do like campaigns like that if you can figure it out. And then it would alleviate you knowing that you're not, connecting with them as often, even though you're really not connecting with them. You're still sending them tips. I feel like the scheduled things, they're awesome, but they're not really personal like they are if you're just sitting down typing on a message.
You take some good notes, Danielle?
I was just looking to see if I had any more questions, but I think I asked them all. That's what I was just double checking.
I had some questions actually, but then she answered them before I even got to ask them. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I was looking at my notes if I missed anything. I think that was all, but hopefully you guys get some good nuggets and you can.
I have some good. I definitely have a list of some things. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you so much for taking time out of your vacation for us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it works whenever the boys are in bed.
Yeah.
So we appreciate your time and we appreciate your wisdom. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, definitely.
I have no hope of ever making Top and State for anything until you decide to move.
Hey, actually, don't say that because one of my downline directors, she said the same thing. And I was like, don't say that because my goal, okay, I said this last year too, so I shouldn't say this again maybe, but my goal is to, like I said, now that I'm an executive director, I want to do less PV because it's a lot of work. Like PV is a lot of work. And now that I've promoted 6 leaders, I need to rebuild my team back up because I lost so many in my Gen 0, which is not a bad thing, because they all promoted and I still get Gen 1 and Gen 2 overrides. But I want to rebuild my team back up this year. And my recruiting is like, I had 7 PICAs last year. That was awful. But so I want to focus more on building my team and do less PV, but it's really hard to switch over because you're just so like in that groove of I got to book parties, I got to book parties, I got to make my parties successful. That's where you get the paycheck quicker. But so anyways, all that to say, there's hope that maybe you'll be top in state someday.
I'm shooting for top in the country of Mexico. I'm waiting for this international launch because that is going to be where I capitalize.
Really? You have people in Mexico that you know?
What's that?
You have people in Mexico that you know?
Oh, yes. I've been to Mexico probably 30 times. I've been there 4 times this year. I'm going back again next month. I'm pre-recruiting.
She's working with the Spanish department. With when we open up in Mexico, she's working with them.
Yanni
and down there with
speaks Espanol very well.
That is awesome. Well, okay, so I have a question for you. I have a girl that just joined, and she's a Hispanic, and she lives in Chambersburg because we have a big Hispanic area in Chambersburg.
Oh,
but
really?
She's my first Latino on my team. I guess she's Latino. I don't know. Is there a difference between Hispanic and Latino?
Yeah.
Okay. But she's Hispanic. And she sold $1,000 in her first month. So she's doing amazing. But she keeps telling me, like, Hispanics are so different with their, like, way of life that she is afraid to book parties because no one ever shows up on time. And they just start in the catalog around. And I'm like, I have no clue how to help her.
Yeah.
She knows
so there is a new Facebook group for, I think it's called, like, Hermanas Latinas or something. I can find out from Yanni.
What?
But there's a new Facebook group, and then there's a team of us, there's 5 or 6 of us Spanish-speaking directors that are now doing trainings for the Latina sales field for all titles, and those are happening once a month.
That is awesome.
So 31 is definitely amping the resources. They've kind of reworked their international strategy, whereas like my family, we were planning a move to Mexico next June. But they have actually pushed back the launch with a new strategy. So the strategy now is to really build the brand among the Latinas here in the U.S. so that once, Trump and all these taxes and embargoes and all that gets straightened out, and once our computer tech issues are all straightened out, we're ready to move in because it doesn't matter what country she's from, she knows somebody in Mexico. Right. And so if we can get brand recognition among the Latinas here in the U.S., we're going to be much more successful abroad.
That's why I was so excited about her joining because I was like, wow, you have amazing potential if you're the only one in the area here that I know of. But I don't know how to help her grow outside of that because she was afraid. So can you send me the link to that group?
Yes, I will get a link.
That I can get her to join that. That would be helpful for her. I'm trying to get her to come to conference too because I feel like if she comes to conference and catches the vision, if they talk anything about international,
they will.
Really big for her too. But I was wondering where we were on that because I knew that since Jeff left and Claudia left and everything, I was like, what's happening with the international? So that's good to know.
Claudia left too?
Oh yeah, it was very secretive, but they were kind of a package deal. She apparently had followed Jeff from a couple of other companies. And
that's right.
When he was let go, she resigned, and it was very like hush hush. And I only knew about it because 3 different home office people came to me asking if I knew anybody who could do the job.
Oh, wow. Huh. Okay.
Very good. Well, that helps me help her. But that's awesome that you have.
Yeah.
that potential and that opportunity.
If you do bring her to conference, make sure I get a chance to meet her.
Okay.
I will love all over her, and she'll be hooked for life, hopefully.
That's awesome. Well, she's excited already. She's like, I can't believe that I sold my first $1,000 already. And she's actually she's the one. Okay, so I had 3 of my recruits last month that peaked it already, and so I earned the trip today. I earned the cruise today.
Congratulations!
She's one of the 3. Thanks. But she's one of the 3 for me, and I had no idea what she was going to do because she's actually been thinking about joining for a couple years. I think she was a home office lead for me, and she kept pushing it off, and she finally did with a gift certificate last month. And then we could never get a chance to connect because her work schedule, like she works 3rd shift or 2nd shift or something. And I was like, oh, brother, this is going to be a dud. She's not going to do anything. And then she put in $1,000.
Bam.
So
That's incredible. Yeah, get that girl to conference.
yeah.
Definitely.
That's what I told her. She's like, I'm not sure if I can afford it this year. And I'm like, it's the cheapest you're ever going to get because it's $50.
Yeah.
So.
Share the stats with her about how girls who go to conference outperform by 4 times.
Is that what it is?
Else. I mean, it's in the stats.
Because there was people asking for the actual stats of that, and everyone said there's no real like numbers. It's just
but there are.
Sell more, but I never knew what it was. So 4 times.
Mm-hmm. And there are actual stats. I think they're 2 years old at this point, but I found the slides. So.
Well, that would be awesome. Do you mind sending those to me too? And if you think about it, whenever you send me the link.
I figure out where I have those hidden.
My conference event.
Good deal.
Okay, ladies.
How many do you have in your lineage now, Renee?
I think today we're at 378.
Wow.
But 90 in my Gen 0. So my Gen 0 dropped from like 150 to like, we were at 70 something before May, I think it was. And so now we're back up to 90 again. So
good.
One of my downline senior directors actually just passed me in number for like Gen 0. She has 93 now. We have 90.
Wow.
So she's pretty excited about that. She's also the one that wants to beat me in top in state someday. So she's pretty competitive.
She's in PA then?
What?
She's in Pennsylvania?
She is, yeah. She actually just moved to Pittsburgh. Her husband is a pipeliner. Well, it's Erica Smith. I don't know if you know Erica. You know that name?
Erica?
Smith? Yeah.
What's her last name?
Smith. She shared on Amy Neal's Pink Ticket Power the other week. She was the $1 enrollee, and her director is the $1 enrollee as well.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But
okay.
her husband is a pipeliner, and so they constantly travel in a 5th wheel because he's always moving jobs. So they used to live in Florida, and they moved to Virginia, and then they lived in PA for a while, which is where she's from and her family lives, and now they just moved out to Pittsburgh.
Oh, wow. Maybe I'll run into her.
Close to you.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Good deal.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for inviting me to join you guys and for the keynote. Thank you.
This was fun. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye, guys.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye. Have a good night.